From the Figure 4 Online Studios in beautiful Bothell, Washington, exclusively at WrestlingObserver.com, you're listening to The Bryan and Vinny Show with your hosts, Brian Alvarez and Big Vinny V.
All right, everybody, it's the Bryan Vinny Show, July 15, 2018, figure4online.com/wrestlingobserver.com. The Extreme Rules pay-per-view recap show here. I know a lot of people are wondering about the Rock and Roll Express match. We're going to talk about that on Tuesday, because Craig watched it, he'll be here. And Rob watched it, he'll be here. I don't think Vinny watched it, so what's the point?
I not watched it, no.
I'm also not in the mood to talk about it. I had so much fun yesterday.
I'm sure you did.
I can't even tell you how fun yesterday was. And then I watched this show. I am already hearing the feedback from people. You're going to get mixed reviews. I'm sure a lot of people agreed with me, but what did I tweet out here? I'll read the exact thing, because I'm already getting blowback, because Twitter's full of idiots. I don't know if you're aware of that or not.
Yes.
I said, and this is true, I never say this, and I hate when people say it because it seems so overdramatic, but this was a WCW show.
It was, actually.
So now, I got people saying, oh, are we being overdramatic? Some guy actually messaged me. He actually messaged me. I'm trying to explain this, okay? So you can send me a message, all right?
I'm aware.
Okay? You don't know whether I read it or not.
Okay.
I have to accept the request for you to know that I read your message.
I see, okay.
Why would somebody send me something? You know what I mean? Why are you sending me this here? What do you watch, he says. Do you like anything? Are you expecting me to respond to you? Well, guess what? I'm responding to you here on the air.
Yes, we're paid to respond.
What the fuck do you watch? Where you saw this and thought, oh, Brian's being overdramatic. This was not a WCW show. This fucking show was great. Man, Oscar getting run headfirst into a fucking shark cage and getting beat. I mean, I could go on for fucking hours.
We're about to.
Which we will
hours.
here.
No, not hours.
I'm not even going to mention the G1. I'm not even going to say a word about New Japan, okay?
You just did.
I went to a random independent show in the middle of Indiana. It was 1,000 times better than this show. The fans had a fucking great time. Nobody tried to hijack the show.
No, I'm sure they did not.
There wasn't a bunch of shit finishes designed to piss you off. Like, what do you mean, what the fuck am I watching? Do I like anything? I like a bunch of shit. I fucking watch things every fucking week that I like. And you know what? I watched a WCW Nitro last Tuesday that fucking blew that show out of the water. So don't even tell me I'm being overdramatic. Last week's Nitro, in the middle of 1999, I might add, was way better than WWE Extreme Rules. Get the fuck out of town, do you like anything? I like a bunch of shit. I didn't like that. Do you watch anything except Raw? Okay, if you only watch Raw, like you don't even watch SmackDown, you don't watch NXT. If you only watch Raw, then maybe you watched this and thought, nobody jammed something up my ass, so fuck, that was a good show. Maybe that's what you thought when this was over. But if you watch anything else, don't sit here and tell me you hate everything, Brian, for not liking this show here that ended with a 30-minute Iron Man match. Let me just tell you something, okay? You don't watch Raw. I do.
I don't.
I watch a lot of shit, okay? I am not the biggest fan of Dolph Ziggler. I don't know if everyone's aware of this or not, but Dolph Ziggler goes to Raw, and he teams up with Drew McIntyre, and because I'm a fair man, I give everything a chance. This guy who was fucking hopeless. Do you understand? There's nobody in WWE more hopeless than Dolph Ziggler. He went to Raw. He teamed up with Drew McIntyre. Guess who's not hopeless anymore? Drew McIntyre. This fucking team is great, okay? So he's in the midst of a great team, and then he wins the Intercontinental title. I was baffled. I just figured, well obviously Seth's going to win back on Raw the next week. He didn't. So Dolph and Seth are feuding over this title on Raw. Their matches have been fucking great. They had one match on Raw that was a 27-minute match. The place is going wild. 3 hours into a show. The match was so good, okay? So what does WWE do? They found a way to have an entire crowd in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania turn on this match. They made it an Iron Man match. How many Iron Man matches have we seen? Many. What happens in the 2000s when you do an Iron Man match? Everybody knows nothing matters until the last 5 minutes, okay? So not only are you going into a match where you know that nothing matters until the last 5 minutes, you're doing it 3 hours into a show full of fuck finishes. So these fans are done. Now, there's part of me that I'm unhappy that the fans ruined the match for these two guys. But you know what? Let's take the two guys out of this. They booked a 3 hour and 40-minute show. And in the last half hour, they did an Iron Man match. 7 falls in like the first 10 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay. Like, you got what you deserved here, okay?
Yes.
The fans, they turned on the match. They somehow managed to take the best in-ring match in WWE, like on the main roster. I'm talking NXT. This is like the best feud on the main roster of the year. They found a way to ruin it.
In one night.
With this stupid booking. There's stupid booking up and down this show. This thing with Asuka and Carmella and a 10-second Jeff Hardy match. This show... Let's start. I'll be here all night.
For those of you,
But I don't want to be.
For those of you who have not sampled F4Wvideo.com.
Oh yeah, this is on video.
Yeah. You, for the low price of, I believe, $9.99?
No, a lot less than that, dude. What is the cost? $7? I think it's $7 a month or something.
Or even per episode.
I don't even know what
like
it
$3
is.
or $4, whatever.
Yeah.
You can sit there in the comfort of your home and watch Brian do the hand gesture for when he talked about how the best thing on Raw was not getting something jammed up your ass.
Yes.
So, I just want to get that out of the way. WWE Extreme Rules, July 15th, 2018. And what I think we can safely say was a historic show by the end of this.
Hell yeah, it was.
This is not just another forgettable pay-per-view.
Listen, if you're a dumb fan that can't figure this out, I'm going to explain it to you, okay? There was a lot of this stuff that wasn't bad in a vacuum. Does everyone know what a vacuum is? Do you know what that term means?
It's an absence of anything.
Okay, if there's an absence of everything on the show, except X match, X match, X match, then they're not bad. But this ain't a vacuum. There were 10 matches on the show, okay? So you know there's 10 matches on the show. Let's talk about what they did with their 10 matches and how they booked this show.
Okay. Due to a Sunday afternoon traffic jam, I missed the opener.
I'll talk about it.
Have at it.
Okay. I wasn't going to talk about the Rock and Rolls match. There's no way my match with the Rock and Roll Express was worse than this match. This was the most basic, nothing happening tag team match. And nothing against them, because I'd have a match with both teams, okay? This is right up my alley, all right? But this was on national pay-per-view.
Global.
A tag team.
Worldwide
tag team championship match. I'm going to tell you what happened. The babyface ran wild a little bit. Matt got cut off. They worked him over a little. There was a 4-way. The babyfaces were run together, and Bo hit Matt with a neckbreaker and pinned him. That's it.
That sounds like a tag team
There were
match.
no near falls at the finish. There were no near falls. There were no falsies, as we call them. There was no back and forth. There was literally a hot tag. 2 guys were run together. 1 guy fell outside, and there was a finish. We did more with Ricky Morton and Robert Gibson, who are 60 and 63 respectively, on an indie show in the middle of nowhere. This was the World Tag Team titles!
In the biggest company in the world.
And you know what? Like I said, I have no problem with the match in a vacuum, okay? It was a fine little tag team match. But the B team have been jobbers forever.
A decade.
Okay? Now they're getting a little bit of a push, and they're going to go from jobbers to a little push to the tag team champions of the world. And someone went, have I got the match for you? 4 minutes. Matt, whoever, I don't even know who ran wild, doesn't matter. This was nothing. There was nothing wrong with it.
But there was nothing
but
right
there
with
was
it.
nothing right with this match.
So I got here just in time to see Baron Corbin versus Finn Balor.
Well, first we had a Kurt Angle promo, which is important. So Kurt says, I have recently reopened negotiations with Lesnar's team. Paul Heyman has told me Lesnar is not interested in returning at this time. I had to cancel a multi-person match a few weeks ago. He refuses to face anybody in WWE, but then he goes and challenges the UFC heavyweight champion to a fight. So, Brock Lesnar must either show up tomorrow and come to terms for his next title defense, or I will strip him of the title. And when he mentions stripping Brock Lesnar of the title, everybody cheers.
One of the biggest ovations of the whole night.
Yes. So I've gotten a ton of emails and tweets and text messages. It's mind-boggling to me, but I guess they've just done a good job. Everyone believes that Brock is holding out on WWE.
Yeah.
This is a storyline from start to finish. And it's designed to make you hate this guy and want him to lose the title and leave. Okay, they've accomplished that. Think about this. They're probably paying this guy $7 million annually. And their idea is, we're going to convince you that he doesn't want to wrestle. He's never going to show up, and you don't want to see him, and you want him to go away.
Yes.
Okay.
They're paying him to be a negative draw.
They've accomplished their goal. Now, the problem is, the guy who's probably going to beat him, this has done jack shit for Roman Reigns. And apparently jack shit for Bobby Lashley based on this show. So, this is World Championship Wrestling.
It really is.
They never paid anybody. You know what they did? When they paid someone $5 million like Hulk Hogan, they jammed that fucker down our throats. These guys are doing the opposite. We're going to pay him $7 million, but not use him ever. And make you hate him and not want to see him. We're going to create go-away heat for a man we're paying $7 million to.
Exactly.
Okay, don't tell me this shit is good, everybody. Stop that.
So, Baron Corbin versus Finn Balor. The storyline, as best I can tell,
is Finn is small.
Finn is a good wrestler, but he's small.
Yes.
Corbin is a bad wrestler, but he's big.
Yes.
So, Corbin went out there and proved it by having a big, slow, boring match.
Yes.
Nothing happened for a while. They traded big moves at the end. I think I wrote about 20 words about this whole match. They traded moves at the end. Corbin avoided the foot stomp, but he tried End of Days, and Finn turned it into a small package for the win. So the good, small wrestler used a wrestling move to beat the big, bad wrestler.
Yes.
That's all fine, inoffensive, in a vacuum, as
In a
you've been
vacuum.
saying. This would have been a good TV match.
This would have been a boring match on Raw.
Well, yeah. Maybe good is a little strong.
Now, the announcers are talking about how Finn is very talented. Corey says, he's very talented, but there's a reason that there's weight classes in sports. I'm like, well, why aren't there weight classes in wrestling then?
Well,
you fucking idiot.
As was made very clear by the show, it's not a sport.
There are weight classes, Vinny. It's called 205 Live.
That's true.
And guess who's under 205, but he's not on 205 Live?
Finn Balor.
I'm just befuddled. I'm trying to think of new words every time to not bore the listeners.
They cut backstage where the Bludgeon Brothers had laid out Team Hell No. They slammed Kane's leg in a door and hit the door with their big hammer, and that was that.
They destroyed his ankle.
Asuka versus Carmella with James Ellsworth in a shark cage.
Let's think of the great undefeated Asuka from NXT. It was so good that people thought she should win the men's title.
They still chant for her.
Oh, crazy.
She hasn't been on NXT in months.
Well, let's solve that problem.
So they put Ellsworth in the shark cage. He immediately began to drop gimmicks into the ring.
Immediately.
30 seconds, legit 30 seconds or less.
They didn't even build to it.
No.
He gets raised up. They ring the bell. The ref is immediately distracted. He drops a chain.
Yes. Chain didn't get used. Some kind of mace or something got dropped down. That didn't get used either. So Ellsworth picks the lock on the cage.
No, he had a key.
Either way.
Has Paige been fired yet for being the worst GM in the entire history of the planet Earth? This was her bright idea. We'll make sure he doesn't interfere. We'll put him in a shark cage above the goddamn ring and not frisk him.
So this is the cage was very low, as we shall discuss, but Ellsworth ends up hanging upside down by 1 foot from the cage door, which was supposed to happen. And Asuka gets in the ring to kick him. Ellsworth's big fashion jacket falls down over his head, revealing the flak jacket he's wearing underneath, because it's all a fake show. So Asuka just kicks him for a while, and then Carmella comes up behind and pushes her head into the cage and pins her.
Yes. Now listen, in a vacuum, it was funny when Ellsworth tried to get out and he got his leg caught and he was hanging upside down. That was funny. I thought, haha, physical comedy. Okay. Then, Geeks run out. Asuka beats him up. I thought, that's kind of cool. Then, you knew. Here's the thing. Asuka's an idiot babyface.
Yeah.
Because you knew what was going to happen.
You, the viewer at home, knew what was going to happen, but she was too stupid to know.
She was too stupid. Sure enough, in comes Carmella. She shoves Asuka's head into the metal. Asuka is pinned by Carmella, who remains the SmackDown Women's Champion. Asuka is a geek. I'm pretty sure I already chopped her. I think I chopped her last month. If not, you can all just rest assured she's fucking getting chopped this week.
They were, before the match, talking about how this is, and this is their exact words, another opportunity for Asuka. Because she keeps on failing.
She keeps failing, yeah.
But WWE rewards failure with further opportunities to fail.
Yep, and I'm sure they'll rematch at SummerSlam. It'll probably be that 2-on-1 match they were thinking about for this show. And I'm sure she'll win the title and they'll think it's going to rehab her. All you need to know is, at the end, Asuka beat up a bunch of men and German Ellsworth all over the place, which should have been a huge pop, but it wasn't. Because they were over this already.
There were boos.
Yeah.
Asuka got booed because, you see, she loses all the time.
She's a loser.
And beats up Ellsworth, who at least makes them laugh.
Yes.
They recapped all the finishes, including the pre-show matches, because you got to fill 4 hours. On that note, Jeff Hardy versus Shinsuke Nakamura. Shin hits a low blow before the bell rings. The ref offers to call off the match. Jeff says, no, ring the bell. They ring the bell. Nakamura hits a Kinshasa and pins him.
Yeah.
This was better than Carmella's match.
Now, Jeff Hardy's all beat up, so I figured that's why they took the title off of him. But then, an hour later, they announced they're rematching on SmackDown.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe they'll not do the match again there, but...
Maybe they'll have Eric Angle come out in a robe. And
could be, dude.
So, Nakamura is celebrating. Out comes Randy Orton. He hits the ring. Nakamura retreats to the announce desk. They're having a stare down. But then Orton turns. He leg dives Jeff Hardy and then just punches him right in the balls.
Yes.
I guess it's a way to say, I'm a bigger asshole than you, Nakamura.
Well, when I saw it, I thought that it was a heel turn. But then I was told they are going to do Nakamura Orton at SummerSlam. And it was just Orton saying, I have no friends. I will punt anyone in the balls.
I am a complete asshole. Cheer for me.
I'm not sure if he's supposed to be a heel is the point. He may just... It may be
baffling.
That he's Steve Austin.
Are you certain?
Yeah, he may just be doing the Steve Austin.
He took one of the most popular guys and punched him in the testicles.
Well, what are they going to do? Are they going to do heel versus heel, him and Nakamura?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I don't know what the hell they're doing.
Yeah.
All I know is what I was hoping would happen here. Because Orton's goal apparently was just to prove that he could punch Jeff Hardy in the balls harder than Nakamura could.
Yeah.
I was hoping that somebody else's music would play. The Big Show. And that guy would come down and he would also punch Jeff in the balls. And then... I don't know, the Bludgeon Brothers comes out and hit Jeff in the balls. We get
they
45
bludgeon
minutes.
his balls?
They bludgeon his balls. I want for just 45 minutes of ball shots trying to one-up each other.
No.
That would have been more creative and entertaining than what we got. Braun Strowman versus Kevin Owens in a steel cage match.
Let's talk about this setup here very quickly, Vinny. So you watched the videos.
I had heard about, but not seen, the porta potty angle on Raw.
Yeah.
Watching it in highlight form, mind you. It was 100 times worse than I envisioned.
Vinny, think about this. You watched highlight form.
Yeah.
Do you know that in real life, he got to the porta potty at about 11:01, and they had a 14-minute overrun, and so he dragged that porta potty all the way through the backstage area to the stage.
So
and
bad.
I swear to God Almighty, it was 5 minutes of him dragging a porta potty through the backstage area. So anyway, the storyline is Kevin Owens keeps running away from Braun Strowman.
Right.
He keeps trying to flee.
He wants... Yes.
So Kurt Angle decides, I have a solution. We're going to put them in a cage with no roof where you win by fleeing. That will solve this problem.
I'll teach you a lesson, Mr. Owens.
Yep. I mocked this idea on Twitter, and I'm immediately, because it's Twitter, everybody's saying, well, what could they have done? How about a roof?
A million other things.
A fucking roof on the cage, you idiots.
You could put a lumberjack match out there. You could chain them together. You could put a scrap
That's the whole
match.
fucking point of a cage with a roof. So he can't get away. So then, my man coach, they announce, this is a cage match. You can win by pinfall, submission, or by escaping the cage. Coach immediately says, there's nowhere for Kevin Owens to run.
Yeah. They brought him back. He was fired. He was gone. They brought him back.
There's nowhere for him to run. And then the bell rings. You know what that motherfucker does? He runs.
As I recall, he ran.
He ran and he fucking ran. He tried to run over. He tried to run out. He ran every fucking which way you can run. Because there were a lot of ways to run. 4, 5.
So it didn't work, and Braun kept... So he's trying to run away, but Braun, like an asshole, is dragging him into the ring and kicking his ass. Like a bully.
How dare he?
So finally, Owens gets a moment of offense, and now he is doing super kicks and frog splashes, and suddenly the undersized, the plucky underdog, Kevin Owens, is doing all kinds of cool moves trying to beat the bully.
Yeah, because the bully said,
What?
Your shirt claims fight Owens fight, but you're a coward. How about you fight me? And so Kevin Owens said, okay, and he fought him and he kicked his ass.
So Strowman beats him up for a long time, throws him into the cage in a very reckless, if only I had known what was to come, but he throws him into the cage in a dangerous manner.
What happened was he threw him into the cage like the lawn dart, but he didn't throw him quite far enough.
He was too far away, yeah.
Yeah, so Owens' face just goes all the way down.
Like a cheese grater.
Oh, that was brutal.
Owens hits a stone cold stunner. That'll get him booed. So he goes to climb out, and Braun slams the door in his face, and finally, from somewhere, who knows where in his gear, he could have a fanny pack under that shirt for all we know, Owens pulls out handcuffs, and he handcuffs Braun Strowman to the cage. Because, you see, Braun Strowman is dumb, and Kevin Owens has outsmarted him. Great. Just go leave. That's all. We're done. You told the story. You got a conclusion. Go leave. No, now Owens has to be an idiot. He attacks Braun, gets chokeslammed, finally decides to leave, but first, he crotch chops Braun, because that'll get him booed. Now Braun, suddenly, at will, he can break the handcuffs. He couldn't for 2 minutes, but now he can just break the handcuffs whenever he wants. And they go up top, and when I say up top, they are both standing on a platform on the very, very top of the cage. I'm trying to figure out what the hell they're going to do out of here. There's going to be like a low blow, and Braun will collapse, and Owens will scurry down, or maybe he'll do a big bump into the ring, and Braun will climb down. No. Braun grabbed him by the throat, and Owens went flying and landed on the announce table.
Yeah.
Now they had a big cushion dealie underneath it. It was a gimmicked table. Great. If you'd fucked this up at all, tragedy.
It's not even if he fucked it up. Do you see his head when he landed? His whole neck snapped back.
Yeah.
Here, all I know is this. This is back when Kevin Owens was in Ring of Honor. How long ago was that?
6, 7 years.
He had a bad back then. He's 34 years old now, okay? Had a bad back for like 7 years. He's not as fat as he's been before, but he's a heavy guy. Mm-hmm. And this feud with Strowman, he's fallen off all sorts of shit.
I remember the last show, he fell off a giant ladder.
He's taken flip bumps on the floor. Like every time they wrestle, he takes like 3 flip bumps on the outside. Now he's getting thrown off the cage. Are they trying to kill Kevin Owens? Can we not do that? He's got beautiful kids at home. Nice fella. Is there anything else he can do?
I don't know.
That doesn't involve dying?
Now, we have talked about the physical risk of life and limb from this spot. Have we mentioned that as a result of this, Kevin Owens won the match?
Oh, they didn't even mention that.
They did. They did.
Oh, they did?
Because Braun goes to the floor. He says, your winner is Kevin Owens. Ha, ha, ha.
I didn't hear the your winner part. I just heard him say his name.
Because you see,
He doesn't care.
nobody cares.
No, he just wants to kill the guy.
Wins and losses do not matter.
Yes.
Keep that in mind. It becomes relevant later. Wins and losses don't matter.
Well, to be fair, Vinny, because we are fair here, they don't matter to Braun.
Oh, no,
He's a psychopath.
As we learned later, they don't matter to the audience either.
Well, that's for sure.
Yes, because, well, I'll get to it. So, yes, Braun went into this match not caring about winning, not caring about losing. He only wanted to injure this man and end his life. He's the hero.
Yes.
He is the good guy.
Yeah.
What a stupid company.
Oh, there have been a lot of psychopaths that have been baby faces, Vinny. That's the least of our problems on this show. Trust me, that's the least of our problems.
They recapped the Hardy Nakamura match that I just watched.
Yeah. In case you missed any of the 2 seconds that it lasted.
And they said Jeff has asked for his championship rematch on SmackDown. Paige has not yet granted it. So stay tuned.
Oh, yeah. Paige is busy dealing with her other stupid ideas she had for this show.
Bludgeon Brothers versus Team Hell No, which turned out to be a handicap match at first. So, there was this fella named Daniel Bryan, who, gosh, I guess it's been like 4 years now, but the fans loved him so much, they hijacked the show in every arena around the country, cheering for him and demanding to be in the main event, he be in the main event. And against their will, they put him in the WrestleMania main event and had him win, and the fans were overjoyed.
Yes.
Then he got hurt and he couldn't wrestle for a while. Then he got better. He got cleared. He can wrestle again. It's been 2 months? 3? It's 3 since Mania.
Yeah.
Daniel Bryan is this tiny man coming out of retirement to fight against 2 giants. And as he's fighting off these monsters, he takes out one guy and puts the other in the yes lock, and nobody cares. They killed Daniel Bryan.
Well,
that's amazing to me.
They worked very, very hard. You know what this was? This was WrestleMania. Remember WrestleMania where like Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon were going to come back for a tag team match?
Yes.
And they made sure to pretend like Daniel Bryan was hurt, and they took him out of the match, and they had Shane wrestle alone, and it was a fucking disaster.
Yes.
Let's see what they learned from that. They just reunited Team Hell No. Everybody loved it.
Yes.
Big yes chance the whole 9 yards. Here's our idea. Let's injure Kane. Bryan will work all by himself. He'll do nothing in this match. We're going to have Kane come out with a giant boot. One of those big-ass plastic boots.
My wife has just had plantar fascia surgery. She had one of these boots for a while. Yes.
He lumbers out in this giant boot. He can't move. He does literally nothing.
Listen, it's Kane in 2018. He can barely move in a good day.
Yep.
Now he's out there on one leg.
Bryan takes one look at this guy in a giant ski boot. He should have just had a ski attached to it. He would have been just as mobile. He tags himself back in. They doomsday device him, and they pin him.
And what a doomsday device. Like, it took me a minute to figure out that's what it was. But I think it was Rowan gets him up on his shoulders, and he goes about 1 foot away from the corner, and Luke just jumps off and comes straight down, and his arm kind of hits Bryan, and they pin him. But yes, they pinned Daniel Bryan to kill him deader.
Yep, he's done.
Mind-boggling. Roman is walking backstage. When the B team show up, they are still celebrating their championship win, like 2 hours later. He said if he beats Bobby tonight, they can celebrate together. And he blows them off.
Yeah. Just, let's talk about what really happened here, Vinny. Roman Reigns is walking backstage.
Oh, God.
The storyline is he's a loser. He lost to Brock. He lost to Brock. He lost to Brock. He's losing to everybody. He, by the way, goes on to lose tonight, but we didn't even know that yet. This guy's a total loser. 2 men come up to him and say, if you work really hard, you can be like us. He laughs them off. They're the World Tag Team Champions.
Yeah.
Portrayed as fucking total geeks by a guy whose gimmick is he's a loser.
When we go back...
They're not just funny guys. They're the champions.
When we go back on our good
20
Sundays,
years ago?
Our 30 years ago, our good Sundays, when we watch the retro NWA shows, we make all kinds of jokes about the prestigious Western States Heritage Championship belt. But you know what? It was fucking prestigious.
Yeah, people wanted it.
People wanted it, and if you had it, you were not a joke. Now... Anyway.
Can you imagine if, like... Who's one of the jobbers in the old NWA shows? Who's a classic jobber?
George South.
George South. Can you imagine George South walking backstage on an NWA show, and Arn and Tilly come up, and they're like, if you can just do what we do, you could also be a champion. And he laughs him off and walks away. That would be preposterous.
It sure would.
That's what happened here.
Yes. So we had Roman Reigns and Bobby Lashley.
Fans hated it. as always.
Not as bad as I have seen other.
That's because, Vinny, they turned the audio down.
Well, there were still no.
There were Steelers chants.
There were Steelers chants.
We want beach balls.
See, that's the thing. No, there were chants for we want beach balls. I heard
But they
that.
couldn't find one.
It's like everyone else thought their buddy would bring the beach ball.
Yes.
Everyone else counted on
somebody else bringing the beach ball.
So I'm assuming tomorrow there will be 10,000 beach balls.
Could be,
Everyone
yeah.
will bring at least 2. So
This wasn't a terrible match,
Yeah.
but nobody cared. And
yeah, it was nothing. It was a nothing match is what it was. The last like 5 minutes were good and people actually did care. 5 minutes into their 20-minute match or whatever. So in the end, it was I would say this match was good
well, it was the best match on the show.
to this point.
What was better? Not the. Oh, I guess maybe Rusev and AJ.
There's some AJ was better, and I had more fun in the main event, which we'll get to. So the only thing I can add to this is there was two. As long as we're listing stupid things the announcer said, they're going over the career of Bobby Lashley.
We have time.
They're going over the career of Bobby Lashley, great collegiate wrestler, armed forces champion, MMA fighter, and who can forget WrestleMania main eventer, as Roman pointed out.
That's right.
But they want to talk about his big ECW championship win over Vince McMahon.
Yes.
What a stud.
Yeah.
He beat Vince. Then they're brawling on the floor, and Roman goes to whip him into the stairs, and Lashley runs up and jumps and lands on the stairs. Not even like flat foot, like a box jump. He just runs and jumps on them. They're blown away by this athleticism.
Yeah.
Like he's Will fucking Ospreay or something.
Yep.
He just jumped up the stairs.
And then later he takes a backdrop over the top
Oh
rope
my
to
God.
the floor. 41 years old or something like that. He goddamn near kills himself. That set up his comeback.
That's what happened.
Not the other guy.
That is what happened. The Owens bump was more dangerous. It could have gone a lot worse if he'd hit the table wrong or missed the table entirely. But as it turned out, this bump was worse. So yeah, then he made his comeback, and
42.
Roman goes for a spear, but Lashley spears him instead and pins him clean. People were so happy. They're so happy to see Roman get pinned clean. No fuck finish, no bullshit.
Hey, it was a good finish.
Yeah.
And you know, I also love that they do the video package and they've got that big line from Roman. You left to do MMA. How did that work out for you? And it's like, well, first off, you fucking never fought in your life, dude. And second off, this guy was 15-2. He didn't face like the best guys in the world, but he never lost in Bellator. He had 2 losses in his entire career. Like, that's not that bad.
No.
It's not like he's CM Punk.
And while we're on the subject, it's not like he was a dud, and we make fun of it, but he was a champion in TNA too.
He was.
He was a main eventer there. He was a bigger star for that company than he was here. Showed Ronda Rousey in the front row. Everyone cheered. They set up Alexa Bliss versus Nia Jax. So they hit each other with a bunch of stuff.
This was bad.
It was a bad match. I've seen worse, but it was bad.
There's 9 million girls at ringside. There's Natty and Mickey, who are better than 2 in
There was
the
a
ring.
point when Natalya and Mickey started brawling on the floor, and I was like, wait a minute. Why are they not having a match with Nia and Alexa in the corner?
Because it's WCW here.
Yes, it is.
They're telling stories. Ronda runs in. Ronda was awesome. She destroys everybody until she gets hit with a cane. And then they double-teamed Nia, which I couldn't figure out, like, why'd you double-team her when the bell rang?
This was
It's
an Extreme Rules match, yeah.
It's no DQ. What the hell are you just doing standing outside? DDT'd her on the chair, pinned her. Sucked.
This was all sorts of no good, were my exact words.
Yeah.
Breaking news. Nakamura and Hardy are going to wrestle on SmackDown.
Okay, so now I have to ask a question here, all right? There's 2 matches left. There is the SmackDown World Heavyweight Championship match with babyface AJ Styles versus Rusev. And then there's a 30-minute Iron Man match featuring Seth Rollins and Dolph Ziggler for the Intercontinental title. Okay? They start airing a video package for the AJ Styles Rusev match. And I thought, putting on the world title match before the Intercontinental title match. Why would you do that? And what I concluded was, even though everybody loves Rusev, Rusev is supposed to be a heel.
Yes.
So I figured, okay, so Rusev has to be winning, and then Seth is going to win the main event, and you're going to have a babyface win to close the show.
Right.
I'm like, this is the only reason why you would headline with the Intercontinental title Or maybe you figured, like, it's going to be such a blow-away match. This Iron Man match with fucking 8 falls or whatever in it. So, as it turns out, the babyface AJ wins this match, and we have a total heel fuck finish in the main event.
To guarantee the fans leave pissed.
Why did that go on last? I'm astounded at this decision.
I may write a book on the dysfunctional relationship between WWE and its fans in 2018. Like, this is a divorce that needs to happen. Right? They hate each other. The WWE hates its fans, and the fans hate the WWE product. And this is another slap in the face. This decision to go out of your way to send the fans home pissed off later.
Not only did AJ Styles, the babyface, win, he won clean.
It was a good finish. And
they chose to give a fuck heel finish to end the show as opposed to a babyface winning the championship match.
The way this finish went down, even if Rusev had been the more popular wrestler, which is a possibility, the way he was defeated, he was out-wrestled, AJ was the better man on this day, the fans still would have liked that as a match and a finish and a main event ending. There's nobody who was going to enjoy the end of the Iron Man match.
I'm more astounded the more I think about this.
So, I don't have a ton to say about AJ and Rusev. It was a very good pay-per-view main event, World Championship match. It was the first thing on the entire show that really felt like a pay-per-view match. AJ, of course, wrestled from underneath because he is small, and Rusev is, in fact, big and scary. They kept going for their sub-holds, often had them countered. Rusev's leg, he did get caught in the calf crusher at some point, and his leg was sore the rest of the match. He had trouble planting to even just put on the camel clutch. You know, we haven't talked about it yet, but apparently Hulk Hogan was in the building here for this show.
He was in the building.
I some people had the idea that since Kane couldn't compete, Hogan would come out and be Daniel Bryan's tag team partner. That's an awful idea for many reasons. But I did think about here, what if Rusev gets AJ in the camel clutch, the Iron Sheik's finisher, and here comes the Hulkster to convince AJ to fight on. Well, that didn't happen.
No.
But English interfered a couple of times, so AJ went after him. And then English pulled off a turnbuckle pad, but it backfired because and Rusev charged, AJ dodged, and Rusev hit the turnbuckle. And AJ wipes out English with a dropkick, hits the phenomenal forearm to pin Rusev. There's actually some stuff in between there. The last 2 minutes of this match, AJ was winning on him. So it's a very, very decisive finish. Not just a clean finish, but it left you thinking if they wrestled 5 more times, AJ'd probably win 5 more times.
Yes, there was no debating who the winner was.
Yes, AJ was the better man.
There was debating now what?
That I had that same thought too.
He's destroyed Nakamura. He's beaten Rusev.
Mm-hmm.
Who's left? Who's next?
I don't know. Orton apparently is not feuding with him.
Orton's busy.
Yeah. I don't have any idea.
I have no idea. They should have put it on Nakamura a month ago, but...
Yes. Charlie or Dasha or whoever was interviewing Seth Rollins backstage. And Seth is saying, I have a 30-minute Iron Man match tonight. I don't know how many falls it's going to take to win. Could be 5, could be 10, could be 100, could be 1,000. And I laughed. Ha-ha! 1,000 falls in a 30-minute Iron Man match. And then they went out and they tried to pin each other 1,000 times in a 30-minute Iron Man match.
Yeah.
So, before things even begin, Cole is talking about the elite group of superstars who have won Iron Man matches.
I love when Cole delves into facts.
There's Shawn Michaels, of course, and Triple H, and Brock Lesnar, and Bayley.
I'd forgotten about that.
Now, I love Bayley. I'm a huge fan of Bayley, but based on her status in this company right now, I would not put her in a prestigious group of superstars you're trying to join. So, 14 years after signing with this company, Dolph gets a pay-per-view main event, and this happens. He's also out there. He has new tights that say "evil" across the ass, so we know who his pick in the G1 is.
That's better than over it,
I guess. So, they're doing this match, and Michael Cole says, "Nearly 5 minutes gone, and there have not been any falls yet." And I laugh. Like that's supposed to be news, right? Like pay-per-view main eventers routinely get pinned in 5 minutes.
Yes, he can't believe there has not been a fall in 5 minutes.
And then Seth immediately hits a buckle bomb on the Mahastral for the pin at 4:30.
Yeah. And then guess what? First Cole says, I can't believe we haven't had a pin here in 5 minutes.
Almost 5 minutes.
There's a pin prior to 5 minutes, and then Michael Cole says, Corey, do you think this bodes well for the Architect?
Oh, God, what are we watching?
He's up 1-0. Do you think this bodes well?
He's ahead.
Fuck. That's a fucking good question, Cole.
It's better be winning or losing.
Does this bode well for him now that he's up 1? So that's a very, very, very important thing I have to mention here. He gets a pin, and they just keep going. There are no pauses in between falls.
No.
It's not like there's a fall and then a 1 minute rest and then we go again. No. You get pinned, you just keep going.
Yes. So, I understand, by the way, as you mentioned, they had a 27-minute match on Raw. So they went a half hour there with... Was there a finish in that one at the end?
The which one?
Seth and Dolph, their match on Raw. Okay, so one fall, but it took them 20-plus minutes to get there.
Yes.
Here we have a pin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds, and then this became the greatest show of all time. And the reason, by the way, I forgot to mention this will be the last Iron Man match you ever see on a WWE show.
It might be a while.
So...
Thank God, too. They've been a disaster ever since 96.
So the clock ticks down. It's ticking down to 24 minutes. Not 20, not even 25, 24. But goddamn it, that's a countdown. So the crowd goes 10, 9, 8, 7. I'll spoil it for you. They get down to 0, and then they all go, eh. And I laughed, and I laughed, and I laughed.
Yes.
They counted down 24 minutes. A minute goes by.
They do it again.
10, 9, 8. It was even funnier the second time. So at the 22-minute mark, they're clearly going to do it a third time, but Seth has a bright idea. I'll show these fuckers, he says. I
gave him credit, but it was actually a note from the back that said, do not slow down during the last 10 seconds.
Okay.
So they'd figured it out backstage. We've got to get this thing stopped. So Seth, he's like, okay, there's 10 seconds left. Now's the time for the curb stomp. So he hits the curb stomp at the 10-second mark. They don't do the countdown. So now we're counting down to 21 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
They started back up again.
Okay, we'll pick that up in a minute. So this curb stomp was a planned finish?
Yes.
So after no falls in 20-plus minutes, here in this 30-minute Iron Man match, there have now been 2 falls in 8 minutes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
At this point, I was thinking Seth would just win like 11-0. Which actually would have been much better than what they did.
Yes, anything would have been better.
So he wins to go up 2-0. Now he's attacked by Drew McIntyre to go up 3-0.
Yes, Drew. So this is the whole key to this. Drew attacks him and beats his ass and is disqualified.
Yes.
They ring the bell.
Yes.
Match is over. It's 3-0.
Yes.
Drew keeps attacking him.
Yeah. DQ him again.
That's a fucking DQ.
Just DQ him again.
The ref does not DQ him.
No.
The ref allows him to beat the shit out of him for a while, and finally he says, that's it, you're out of here. He tosses the guy out. Drew doesn't leave.
No.
He then hits a Claymore kick. That has to be a fucking DQ.
One would think.
Nope.
No.
Toss him out. He's now down 3-0, and Ziggler pins him, super kicks him, pins him again. This match was an absolute joke in the middle of them trying to kill this chant. Boy, did that not work.
No. So now it's 3-2. Seth is ahead, but Dolph is beating him up.
Well, after the super gig, zigzag, 3-3.
It's 3-3 soon. But before we get to the zigzag, they took the clock off the big screen. We'll show these fans, even though you know it's an Iron Man match and nothing important is going to happen for 20-some minutes anyway, we're going to stop you from having fun. And we will take this clock away. So they took the clock away. Everyone boos. Now Dolph hits a zigzag to tie it at 3-3. And Dolph has now pinned Seth 3 times in 2 minutes. I bet if I went back and checked, Seth has not been pinned 3 times on TV this year.
Here's the story. It's Kevin Dunn.
Who I hate. I hate Kevin Dunn.
He did not like the chants. And so his brilliant idea was, let's just take the clock down. Mm-hmm. Then they won't be able to count.
You idiot.
2 problems.
You dumb motherfucker.
3 problems. The first problem is, now the fans are angry.
Yeah.
They begin booing. They begin chanting, fix the clock. That's problem number 1. Problem number 2, this airs on the WWE Network. They soon figure that out, people began watching the network on their phones
Yes.
so they could see the clock.
Yes.
So they could do the countdown.
Now,
Hold on, there's two more. Number 3. The ones who hadn't figured that out decided, you know what? We'll just do a countdown whenever we want.
every 10 seconds.
There's a fucking countdown every 10 seconds.
3, 2, 1. 10, 9, 8. They just keep going.
Yep. And fourth, the wrestlers are trying to use the clock to work their match.
Because they have intricate falls planned, falls plural.
Yes.
Because it's an Iron Man match, which has 1,000,000 falls or 1,000 falls, whatever Seth said.
Now, I don't know if they did this because they took the clock down, but they took the clock down, the fans boo, they start doing all their chants. Dolph Ziggler then puts this fucking guy in a chin lock, followed by a sleeper for a total of 4 minutes of laying on the mat.
Yeah.
After we've done 6 falls. They did 6 falls in 10 minutes and then laid on the mat for 4 minutes. And they start talking to each other. And they're saying, I think it was better when the clock was up there. You're right. They start talking to the ref. The ref communicates to the back. Finally, Dunn's like, all right, put the fucking clock back up. They put the clock back up. Biggest pop of the entire match because the clock's back up.
Yes.
This is not a Roman Reigns match, by the way.
No.
So, for those of you that hate the fans for doing this, I'm going to give you some ammunition for those fans. When the fans were only hijacking Roman matches, maybe you were onto something. But now that you people have hijacked a Seth Rollins match, that's it. It's completely ineffective as a tool to get them to get rid of Roman Reigns. Do you understand what I'm saying?
So are you upset with the fans who are doing the chanting or upset with the fans who are upset with the fans?
I'm no. For the fans that are upset at these fans for being disrespectful,
Okay.
I'm giving you ammunition,
Right.
okay? Because the fans that hijacked this match have fucked it up for all the fans that hate Roman Reigns. If they're the same fans that hate Roman Reigns,
Yeah.
now they really fucked it up. Because now WWE is not going to think, oh, it's Roman. Now they're going to think it's the main event. Or I don't know what they're going to think, but they ain't going to blame it on Roman.
Ideally, they would think it's our fucking product.
Well, they're
it's
not-
everything we fucking do,
They're
and
not
we need to
gonna think
rebuild from
that.
the ground up.
Not going to think that.
So somewhere in here, Dolph gets a pin. He goes up 4-3. Is a little more than halfway through, about 16 minutes in. So we had, it wasn't quite 1,000 fall pace, but we had 7 falls in 16 minutes. And now, suddenly, everyone's kicking out everything. We got topes, we got frog splashes.
No one can be pinned.
No, they're getting stronger as the match goes on. It's reverse psychology. They started, they were asleep or drugged, and now they're coming to. So this goes on for a while. The clock comes back on. We're getting, when it hit 5 minutes, the crowd said, okay, see, now we know this is the part where the important stuff was going to happen. Now we'll pay attention and we'll cheer. So we get a superplex Falcon Arrow combo for a near fall. They go crazy for that. So after kicking out of a frog splash, after kicking out of the superplex Falcon Arrow combo, Dolph gets pinned with a sunset flip.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah. And then later, after all those big moves everybody kicked out of, Ziggler hits a fame asser with 55 seconds left and is now 4-4. So there's 55 seconds left. They fight.
Wait. Oh, whatever. I think the Fame House got kicked out of too, but it doesn't matter. So Dolph figures I can take this to a tie. If the clock expires, I can kill clock, take it to a tie, I'll leave with the championship. He starts trying to run away. Seth's trying to throw him back in the ring.
because it was 4-4.
It was tied to 4-4, yes. So they doing some stuff in the ring. Dolph goes for the super kick. Seth hits a super kick of his own. He hits the curb stomp. And suddenly, he's too tired to take the 10 seconds to crawl over and cover this guy, and the clock runs out.
Yes.
What?
Damn it.
So
How about the idea that they announced, in the case of a tie in an Iron Man match, it's a draw and the champion retains?
that's what they said.
Has that ever happened in history?
Well,
It
if you
didn't
go back,
happen in Brett and Shawn.
it did, but Gorilla Monsoon came out and reversed it.
I see.
It's the exact same thing. Brett was going to the back.
I see.
Which actually became a big deal.
That is right. That is correct,
Because Brett felt screwed. And that's exactly what they did here. Gorilla Angle came out. Says the fans don't want to see a draw.
They sure don't.
My hometown of Pittsburgh.
They did not want to see this draw.
No,
He's never been more right.
He did not like this draw. So he says, restart this match, next fall wins.
I got to tell you something. When he announced that they were restarting for sudden death, I got my stopwatch out. Because I thought, they're going to go a half hour. Like the last show we watched went 4 hours and 30 minutes or whatever.
Yeah.
They were only 3.5 hours in. I was like, this is their idea. They're going to go to a 30-minute draw, and then they're going to go 30 more minutes, and we'll have a 1 hour match between these guys, and like somebody will win. I have my thing all started. I'm getting it all ready. I hit the start button, and I look up, and there's Drew. And I'm like, Drew? He got fucking ejected. What's he doing here? And he waffles. What's his face? Seth.
Seth hit Drew, but then that just distracted him, and Dolph hit a zigzag
and pinned him in like 1 second.
The end. That's the end.
My jaw hit the floor. I was like, that's the end?
This would be an appropriate time, Brian, for you to repeat the jam it up their ass hand gesture.
Just
That's what they did. They jammed it up the ass of all the fans. God. See, you could have been happy, but we want you to be sad instead. And they jammed it up the fans' ass.
I just was like, this?
It was like they were pissed off at the fans for... I'm sure this is the booked finish going in, but it felt like they were pissed off at the fans for chanting and counting down during the match, and so they fucked up at the end. But no, it was a planned fucking.
I was just so astounded. And like Dolph's out there after he'd been ejected, like, shouldn't that be a DQ? What's going on here? This was just amazing. This show was amazing.
This was unforgettable.
Yeah.
And listen, I'm not going to say it was a good main event, but it was memorable, and I had a ball watching it. That was fun.
Well, yeah, it will not be forgotten.
I don't remember the last time I had that much fun watching a main roster match.
Well, Vinny, don't encourage this stuff.
Why?
Because they're not all going to be this funny.
You're probably right.
They'll get annoying after a while.
Right. Someone was like, oh, you won't think if it's annoying after 20 minutes. I was like, dude, it's getting funnier.
They didn't give up.
No. The longer it went, the funnier it got.
We had a guy call in the other day, and he didn't like...
Sweating.
He didn't like the NXT main event because
tag match?
He didn't like that the fans did the Mustache Mountain Undisputed Era dueling chants and they wouldn't shut up. That's what he said.
Really?
He said, I shut off the match because that was so annoying to me.
Well, let me...
I was like, well, have I got a show for you, buddy?
You got no idea what you're in for.
Dude, those fans loved it and they were into it.
Yes.
What the fuck more do you want out of your wrestling?
Well, that was Extreme Rules.
So the finishes on this show were...
So someone said I should do a finish report just for that match.
Do a finish...
Do you want me to do one? I don't have it ready.
Forget it. Doesn't matter.
There was a bunch of bullshit finishes.
It was just crazy.
Like a half dozen of them in one match.
I am more entertained than annoyed by this one. I will say that.
Yes, exactly.
I've been furious when shows were over in the past. This one's just like, it's hilariously bad. It is a WCW show.
No,
That's what this is.
No, those were not fun. Those were torture.
You may be right.
I don't know. I don't know what to describe this.
But I mean, I absolutely, there's no question in my mind, Tuesday's Nitro blew this show out of the water.
Yeah.
And I think it headlined with Sid, if I recall correctly. Didn't it?
It was,
No, it was Hogan and Savage.
Yes.
Yeah. Hogan and Savage in 1999. With, I believe, like a Sid run-in or something like that.
There was all sorts of
Hogan
bullshit.
won the title back. That was so much better than the main event on the show. Mm-hmm. Not like in the ring, but like they gave you a world championship match and a finish and a new champion.
They gave you what you wanted to see.
I sure didn't get that on this show.
Fans did not hijack that Nitro.
They sure
were
did not.
entertained by it.
They were. They loved it. All right, everybody, that's it. I'll be back later on tonight with Dave. I know he's got a lot to say. And then tomorrow, Observer Live and Observer Radio. And then Tuesday, back with the Retro Show. Should be a fun time. This will be up at video.f4wonline.com. We're back here again nonstop until the convention. And do I fly out Thursday or Friday, Tony? Do you remember? Thursday. So we'll miss one show for the convention. But that's it, because I'll be back on Sunday. Yeah. So really, nonstop from here till forever with only one show we're missing. So that's it from me, everybody. We will talk to you again after a while.
Adios.